And we're back on CentralValleyTalk.com. I'm Mike Scott. Thank you for joining us today. My next guest is Elizabeth Wolf. She's a recruiter, has a consulting practice here in Fresno. We're going to find out all about that right now. Elizabeth.
Mike.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
Okay, so who do you recruit?
Who do I recruit? Well, I target passive job seekers.
Passive.
And what I mean by that is typically companies are the ones who are going to hire me. Okay, they have a strategic opening. For example, right now I'm working on an accountant CPA for a Fresno CPA firm.
Okay. They're looking for a CPA.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can you imagine? And
yes.
And it's a highly sought after skill set. And so they need me to confidentially go out and source, ideally, professionals who are currently doing that same job somewhere else. So
that's why the secrecy is important.
Indeed. Well, and you know what? It is confidentiality not only for my business client, but it's also confidentiality for the candidates. Let's face it, if we're gainfully employed, we don't post our resume onto the internet, right?
Right.
But what we are seeing, and what we have been seeing, I've been recruiting for over 10 years, and once the market collapsed, obviously people in our industry were really paying close attention to what shifts were taking place. What we know to be true, and the statistics are bearing it out, numerous people hung in there through the downturn. Their situation may not have been ideal, but let's face it, if you're gainfully employed during the worst recession of our time, hopefully you're going to be smart and make it work somehow. Well, the economy really is improving. People may not realize that, but within high demand skills like accounting, finance, like IT software technology, your hard to find skill sets, there's actually a war for talent.
There's a demand, yeah.
So people who have been employed are starting, in fact, I would say to active job seekers.
Start looking.
Well, not only that, but the challenge to active job seekers is perhaps their greatest competition right now is not the vast pool of people who were also unemployed, but now the people who have been gainfully employed are thinking about leaving. And so they're putting their names in the hat confidentially. And so it creates a continuing competitive situation. But again, that's where my job is. I'm the treasure hunter. And my job is to make sure I have a clear understanding of the type of individual, the skill set, the level of experience, any particular specialization or certifications that my clients need in order to go out and find that best athlete, as I like to refer to.
Okay, so I want to understand how this works. So you're looking for a CPA for this company.
Right.
And so how do you find the people out there that are already working as CPAs, and how do you approach them secretly, confidentially?
Well, now, Mike, if I tell you that, then I have to kill you. We're talking secret sauce here. No, your question is a very valid one. So,
how do you know who's good out there that you want to go after?
That's a great question. So it's a combination. Think of me like a talent scout.
Right.
Okay. So my job is to network, to be on top of whether it's staying in touch with the educational institutions here in the Fresno area. They have alumni associations. Mm-hmm. Within the public accounting arena, there's an organization called CalCPA. So making sure that I'm both in person throughout the community as well as online through social networking, things like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. My job is to have my handle on the tools in my tool chest, so to speak, and really be mining for those candidates. In addition to, I was at a networking event last night in Clovis and had a great gathering of women business owners, and we each had an opportunity to share. And so when my turn came, I let them know. I said, hey, who do you know? Because as we know, referrals are oftentimes the greatest source of great talent.
So you don't say, I'm looking for a CPA candidate. You just say, oh, tell me who you like in the CPA field. Or,
that's one way of approaching it.
You're sneaky about it.
Well, actually, I'm pretty darn direct. People's time is valuable. Now, having said that, the situation demands the right discretion and appropriateness.
Right.
So, absolutely. I mean, depending upon my audience, depending upon where I am and who I'm speaking with and what type of interaction that is, I'll certainly cater appropriately.
You hear the same name come up 10 times, you know, ooh, I may have a potential candidate here.
Well, and then the other interesting thing is, and I had this happen this morning because I was meeting with this particular client. Sometimes any of us, no matter what we do, if we're set on a certain goal, we can get a certain tunnel vision if we're not careful. And so what I strive to do is, without losing focus on what my client's goals are and the profile of who they're looking for and why, still keep my mind open. And so a situation kind of arose where I got introduced to someone who's in a different type of professional transition, but it's within the same industry. And it opened a conversation. And so my client may be morphing the role a bit. And so you just never know what piece of information or what situation may create an opportunity for change that's beneficial.
You never know.
You never know. So I hope that helps.
It does. So the people that you go after, they don't pay anything, right?
Correct.
The companies that are looking,
Correct.
they're the ones who are paying
Correct.
their salary.
Correct. Although, if I could figure out a mutually beneficial way to monetize,
If I could only.
but so far, I come from my history in the staffing industry. It's not something that's normally done. So my goal is to focus on networking with clients with whom we share similar value systems. There's good working chemistry. I'm able to come in and fill those gaps for them and go out and find the right talent.
I'm picturing you meeting someone in a dark garage downtown at midnight.
Well, I left my
Behind a
trench
car.
coat and my dark glasses and my hat. They're over there.
It's a little slicker than that.
Right.
So that's the consulting part of it, right?
Right.
Or that's the recruiting part. Now tell me about the consulting.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand, okay? So each client, I target primarily small to mid-sized business. Not to say I wouldn't welcome the right project engagement with a larger company, but by and large, smaller to mid-sized businesses don't necessarily have a full-time HR manager, or they don't have a full-time recruiter. A business owner, they're so busy trying to run their business, are they going to spend time sifting through resumes? Or are they going to hire the right trusted resource to do that, screen the best of the best? They come in, get to interview only the best of the candidates, say 5, and they make their decision from there. So in the process of engaging with my clients, there's a discovery meeting that takes place. I need to understand their business. What makes this position important? What's it mean to them, or what's it costing them for every day that the position remains unfilled? Those answers will vary, and also how they may prefer me to plug in to their process. So to give you an example, you know about the accounting search, I'm taking it all over and doing it. Okay. However, had another business owner who felt he had a really strong handle on the sourcing of his candidates, wanted to handle that himself, but in this instance he said, you know what, I would love to have you come in and sit in on the interviews with me. Not all of them, but I want to kind of shortlist my candidates and then have you come in and kind of be an objective third party.
That's a smart guy.
He is a smart guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had a great result. It was a lot of fun. He ended up with a fantastic hire. It worked out well for the candidate, worked out well for the business owner, and it was fun for me. Excuse me. The variety is what makes it interesting. And also, let's face it, a business's budget is an equally critical factor. And so I try to be nimble enough to say, okay, well, you've got these aspects of the process anchored down, but it's sounding to me like, in this instance, maybe some help in the final screening process, or maybe all you want me to do is front end the process, place the ad, compose a great job ad for you, get that advertisement on the internet, screen some of the candidates, and then stage the hottest prospects, and you do the rest of the screening. So it's mix and match.
Okay. Do you charge by the hour, or is there a job price? Or does it depend?
It does depend.
Yeah.
In certain instances, there have been projects where I've worked hourly. There have been other instances where, for example, we come to an agreement on a fee based upon my successfully bringing in the best athlete.
That puts it on you.
It sure does. No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure. All right, so Elizabeth Wolf, tell everybody how they can find out more about you and your business.
Well, I'd love to hear from you. I'm on all the social media, but to keep it simple, you can reach me via telephone at 877-589-9441. That comes directly to me, not a voicemail box. Or you can email me at Elizabeth, and that's ELISABETH at Wolf Recruiting, Wolf just like the animal, .com.
WolfRecruiting.com.
Yeah.
All right. Elizabeth with an S.
Yes.
See, I misspelled it there, but
It's okay. Common mistake.
nice meeting you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, and we'll be back with more on Central Valley Talk.